What's going on, everybody? Al here. This is gonna be my top 5 fragrances that I disliked, I hated in the past. Now I love, I appreciate. Fragrances that I couldn't stand. I was like not impressed, and now I love them. As time went on, I got to appreciate these fragrances and really enjoy them and love them. Number 5 is gonna be the least that I hated, and number 1 is gonna be the most that I hated. So number 1 will be the one that I hated the most, and now I love the most. Okay, so let's get started. Number 5 on my list, top 5 fragrances that I disliked, now I love. Number 5 is from the house of Lalique, and this is Encre Noire. Number 5 on my list. I blind bought Encre Noire for $25 in one of the fragrance groups. I blind bought it, never smelled it. I said, you know what, $25, let me give it a chance. 100 ml bottle, why not? Got the package, opened it up, I was excited. 6 sprays I put on myself, 6 sprays. I had some people around, and I went heavy on trigger, and I couldn't take it. It really choked me out. It was just too much. The vetiver was overpowering, I felt like. The cedar wood and the inky kind of vibe, the earthy vibe, it just didn't do it for me. I was not impressed, but I was not upset because it was only $25, so I said maybe I'll swap it or something in the future, so I put it to the side. And the people around me were not impressed either. They were like, whoa, what are you wearing? So I put it to the side, into the back burner of my collection. A few months went by, and I said to myself, I'm looking through my fragrances, I said to myself, you know what, I see Encre Noire in the back, let me try it again. And I took it out from the back, sprayed a little on my wrist, and I was like, whoa, I can't believe it. This is such a smooth vetiver, wow. And then I put 2 sprays on my neck, and it was just a whole different fragrance. I couldn't believe it. I was just like so impressed. I was so amazed that I disliked this juice at one time. And I wore it, and the more I smelled it, the more I enjoyed it. The more I enjoyed the vetiver. It was such a nice vetiver with the cedar wood, with the inky, earthy vibe. It was just amazing. It really was. I went from disliking this fragrance to really liking it, loving it. Lalique Encre Noire, number 5 on my list. That inky vibe in the beginning, I guess I just put too much, and it overpowered me, and I just couldn't take it. So you got to give it a chance. I mean, I couldn't take it in the beginning. I, continued smelling my fragrances. My journey kept going. I was doing my thing, and I gave it a chance once again a few months down the line, and I appreciate that fragrance. I really do. Okay, let's move on. Number 4 on my list. This is from Tom Ford's Private Blend. Yes, Private Blend. It's not Tobacco Vanille, but Tuscan Leather. Yes, Tuscan Leather. Number 4 on my list. Tuscan Leather. Okay, the reason why it's on my list is because I never wanted to give leather fragrances a chance. Every time a leather fragrance would come around, I would bypass. I would push it to the side. I would say, nah, I'm not going to try leather fragrances. That's not my thing. Who would want to smell like a piece of leather or a leather jacket? I just didn't want to go there. So I never got into leather fragrances. I always avoided them. I was more of a fresh fragrance or cinnamon, spicy kind of guy. And the mindset was, I'm not going to really mess with leather. So, Tobacco Vanille, I loved it. Love at first sniff. Oud wood, I was impressed with a lot of Tom Ford fragrances. I said, you know what, let me try Tuscan Leather. Let me give it a chance. I put it on, I got a little decant, I put it on, and it was just overpowering. It was like a rough leather. I guess because my mind was so infused with leather being like, it's not my thing, that I just didn't like the fragrance. My mind didn't give it a chance. So I was just like, no, it's not for me. I put the decant to the side, and I moved on. Hanging out with some reviewers, some time went by, I met up with other reviewers, reading my journey, people sending me some decant samples, swapping. I came across a few leather fragrances, and I was impressed. I was like, wow, leather fragrances aren't that bad after all. And then I said to myself, wait a minute, leather? Where's that decant of Tuscan Leather? When I got my decant, put it on, guess what? Breathtaking. The leather was so beautiful. The raspberry, the sweetness, the leather went so well. I was just blown away. I was like, whoa, wow, I can't, here we go again. Another fragrance that I disliked, and now I'm blown away. My nose is just transforming. I guess, you know, your nose is picking up the beauty, the essence, the art of the perfume, the fragrance that you can appreciate and you can understand where it's coming from. And Tuscan leather now does it for me. I own a bottle. I went from hating it to owning a bottle. I did a Street Sense video with one of my all-stars, Dedia, and she loved it right away. She gave it a 10, and no exaggeration, she was really blown away. Love at first sniff for Dedia. Number 4 on my list, Tom Ford Private Blend Tuscan Leather. I was not into leather fragrances in the beginning. Didn't want to give them a chance. Okay, moving on. Number 3 on my list. This fragrance I really could not take. It gave me a headache. I couldn't take it. It gave me a headache. Number 3 on my list was a headache fragrance at first, and now it's amazing. It really is. It's from the house of Cartier. This is Cartier Roadster. Cartier Roadster. Now, people will agree, the mint on this fragrance is so overpowering. It's just a strong mint. You put it on, the mint slaps you in the face. And I can see people, you know, being turned off by this because the opening is so strong and powerful, it can turn someone off. Someone might say, well, what is this? You cannot go heavy on the trigger with this fragrance. Just be light on the trigger, 2, maybe 3 sprays, and let it do its thing. Let it take its course. Because the mint will tone down to this real nice, smooth, soft mint to go with this real nice vanilla that will take you on a beautiful journey. It really will. And like I said, the first time I smelled this, it gave me a headache. I probably went heavy on the trigger again. That's probably my downfall. Going heavy on trigger, being heavy on trigger on a lot of fragrances, on blind buys and, you know, first impressions. When you first try a fragrance, I'm heavy. I was heavy on the trigger on a lot of these fragrances. And it kind of like, you know, threw me off. And this fragrance I got fairly cheap. I bought it. I bought a bottle and I put it to the side. I bought it. I tried it out. It gave me a headache. I just didn't like it. I just said, this is not for me. I don't know what this is. I just cannot. It was like a strong toothpaste kind of vibe, like a mouthwash. It gave me a headache. It really did. And I put it to the side. That's what I did. I just put it to the side. Like all the other fragrances, time went on. I read some threads on Roadster. And I said, you know what? Let me give it another try. I started getting into mint fragrances a little bit. I tried Frederic Malle, Geranium Port Monsieur. That has a minty fragrance. And I kind of like that fragrance. So I was like, you know what? If I like this, maybe I should revisit Roadster. Pulled it out, tried it, and I got it. I totally get it now. I see where it's coming from. I think it's a beautiful fragrance. If you have Roadster and you're in the same situation, please give it a chance. Like, let it sit there for a while and revisit this fragrance. And you'll see what I'm talking about. I hope some of you people can understand where I'm coming from with this. I mean, if you're on a journey like I am and you're constantly smelling fragrances, you're heavily into fragrances, I know some might not turn you on right away. Put them to the side. Revisit them once in a while. Put them to the side again. If it doesn't do it for you, then try it again, like maybe 2-3 months down the line, and maybe your nose will adapt or change, or you'll get the beauty of the fragrance. You'll see where it's coming from. Number 3 on my list, Cartier Roadster. This fragrance really did give me a headache. No exaggeration. Okay, moving on. Number 2, the top 2. This fragrance I really wanted to love. When I first got it, I was like, you know what? I'm going to love this fragrance because it had orange in it, and I love orange. I was like, this orange in this fragrance is for me. How could it not be good? What is it? From the house of Hermes. This is Terre de Hermes. Number 2 on my list. Now, I first got this fragrance. I got some samples at Neiman Marcus. I got a few samples. I was excited. I didn't even try them on at Neiman Marcus. I went home like a kid in a candy store. I got the Terre de Hermes samples. I was so excited. I sprayed 2-3 sprays on my wrist. Let it air out. I smelled it. I was like, whoa, what is this? What is this? I cannot believe this is what I'm smelling. And I've seen some reviews. People saying it was a masterpiece, or threads saying how good it was. I just was not, it was not for me. I couldn't believe it. It smelled like orange peels rotting in dirty soil. That's what it smelled like. And I let some people smell it and they didn't like it either. So once again, same story. I put it to the side and I moved on. And time went by. This time it took a while for me to like reach for this again. I mean, a good while. And one day I saw my samples lying there. I pulled them out. I sprayed them, and it just was a whole different fragrance. The orange was, it wasn't a rotted orange anymore. It was just this beautiful orange. I got like a zesty, like an orange kind of zest with like a nice earthy vibe. And it was so smooth and so nice. It was just like a whole transformation. It was like a whole different fragrance. I feel like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I mean, I smelled one thing and now I smell something else. And now I appreciate Terre de Hermes. I love the EDP and the EDT. Both of them are amazing. They're amazing juice. I know some people feel the same way. They're saying to themselves, this smells like rotting oranges in soil. You really got to give this fragrance a chance. You really do. And you'll see it's a really amazing composition. It really is. Terre de Hermes from the House of Hermes, number 2 on my list. Like I said, I could not stand this fragrance when I first smelled it. It was just, I thought of orange. You think of orange and like orange zest and citrus, it's going to smell amazing. And this didn't when I first got it. It was not amazing. Now it is. That's what the video is all about, right? Dislike to loving. And I love this juice right here. Terre de Hermes from the House of Hermes, number 2 on my list. Okay, moving on. Number 1. Now, I spoke about this in a few of my videos in the past. I mentioned this, I told the story, and I'm going to tell it again. Number 1 on my list. This is a fragrance. I was in Sephora. I got a sample. I sprayed it on, and I couldn't believe what I was smelling. I was going to throw up. I was literally going to vomit. I put it on my wrist, and I was like, what the hell is this? I couldn't take it. I felt sick. I was in Sephora. I sprayed it on, and I was like, I got to get home. I got to get this off my wrist fast. Went home. I was feeling nauseous on my way home, and I took a shower. I scrubbed my wrist, and it was still there, and it was like bothering me. I was like, wow, this is still here. I can't get rid of this smell. And it really made me feel sick. It really did. And like I said, it was a sample. I got some Sephora, and I just put it in the drawer. I put in the drawer my samples. I had a lot of samples at the time. It was in the drawer, and it sat there. Before I go on with the story, let me reveal my number 1 disliked fragrance. A fragrance that I disliked in the past, and now I love. Believe it or not, it's from the House of Dior. Dior Homme. Dior Homme. The sample was sitting in my drawer. Time went on. I read more threads. I was doing my thing, smelling fragrances. You know me, I'm smelling fragrance every day. I'm looking for that next fragrance. I'm in the bargain bin shops. I'm everywhere. Fragrances is my passion. I love fragrance. I want to smell fragrance every day. So I'm smelling all kind of fragrances, visiting this fragrance, smelling that fragrance. I'm home one day. I was bored. I was going through my samples, just smelling them. And the Dior Homme sample caught my eye. I was like, damn, this fragrance really made me sick. I was going to throw up smelling this fragrance. I said, you know what? Let me be daring. Let me try it again. I took it. I'm like, wow, I might throw up, but you know what? I'm going to be daring tonight. Let me try this. Sprayed it, smelled it, blown away. It was breathtaking. It was sexy. It was so smooth. I mean, it was so sexy. I was like gonna pass out. I was so shocked. I was like, what's going on here? I hated this fragrance. I was gonna throw up. Now I want more. I need more. I sprayed my wrist. I sprayed all over my neck, and I was in love. I was in love with this fragrance. I was like, I need to get a bottle. I couldn't stop smelling. I couldn't stop thinking about it. And the next day, sure enough, I went to Sephora and I bought a bottle, and I loved it. Dior Homme. I went from vomiting, hating it, to absolutely loving it. And let me tell you, Dior Homme Intense was right after this. I smelled this, I love this, then I got my hands on Dior Homme Intense, and that was love, with a capital L, love at first sniff. Dior Homme Intense is a masterpiece. It's in my top 5 all-time favorite fragrances. It smells like Dior Homme, but it has the cocoa in there, the cocoa which takes it to another level. I love the lipstick opening on this fragrance, that iris lipstick that Dior Homme gives you. It made me an iris fan. I love iris in fragrances because of this fragrance. Iris is amazing. It's an amazing note, especially when it has that lipstick kind of vibe to it. What a sexy scent. It's just amazing. Dior Homme Intense, 2 amazing fragrances. I went from totally disliking to a loving, appreciating, understanding what they're all about. And there you have it. My top 5 fragrances that I dislike, I hated, and now I love. I appreciate, I couldn't understand them. 5 fragrances that I couldn't tolerate. I literally was getting sick. Now I want more. it's funny, it's crazy how your nose adapts, your nose adjusts to a fragrance. I mean, you wear a fragrance, you smell a fragrance, you don't like it, you say this is disgusting, I'll never wear this. Give it some time and you might appreciate the beauty, the art, the craftsmanship of the fragrance. And that's what I did, and this is all a true story to you. This is all 100% true. These fragrances went from practically being thrown out or given away to being cherished. So I wanted to share this top 5 list with you guys. I think it's just, you know, interesting how I went from one to another, from like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. So there you have it. Once again, my top 5 fragrances that I disliked, now I love. What's a fragrance that you disliked in the past and now you love? Comment down below. Please let me know. I'd love to hear stories of fragrances that you disliked and now you appreciate, you love. Hopefully you guys have some stories. I'd love to see the comments. I mean, it's a true story. I mean, this is all 100% real, not made up. I really hated these fragrances. New Street Scent videos coming real soon. I got a lot of things lined up. I got some familiar faces coming back. Daddy is coming back. I got a lot of good things lined up for 2016. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope I see some comments. Let me know a fragrance you hated, you disliked, and now you love. So there you have it. Once again, my top 5 fragrances that I disliked. There's Dior Homme, number 1 on my list because it was the one I disliked the most. Alright, I'll see you guys later. Keep those comments coming. Keep the comments coming, please. Comment down below. Let me know what's going on. Follow me on Instagram at Street Scents. Instagram, Street Scents. Rate, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll see you guys later. Dior Homme. I really hated this juice. Now I love it.